They claim to be the party of patriotism, but they're fawning over Putin. No, they are not the answer for working people in Britain.
That we're going to do things differently. We're going to tell the truth, even when they are hard truths.
Nigel Farage on the rise. Political chaos is brewing in the UK, and it's getting ugly. Welcome back to Visa Pathfinders, where we bring you breaking news, controversy, and the stories that others shy away from. Today, we're diving into a political storm shaking the very core of the UK government. Buckle up. This one's going to be explosive. Before we start, smash that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We've got the facts, the drama, and the twists you won't find anywhere else, and got thoughts? Drop them in the comments below. We want to hear from you. Keir Starmer's recent speech at the Scottish Labour Party conference has sparked outrage, controversy, and a wave of backlash. Accusing Nigel Farage and Reform UK of dangerous right-wing politics, Starmer seemed to focus less on policy and more on fear-mongering. But why? Could it be that Starmer sees Farage as a legitimate threat? Or is there more beneath the surface? Starmer painted Farage as a demagogue, warning of the dangers of right-wing populism. But critics argue that this was nothing more than a desperate move to divert attention from Labour's failings, particularly on issues like net zero policies that have cost Scotland over 70,000 jobs. Nigel Farage, on the other hand, isn't backing down. In a fiery response, he slams Starmer's speech an insult to the intelligence of the British public. Farage highlighted the devastating impact of net zero policies on working-class families, questioning how the government could push green agendas while thousands lose their jobs.
A dangerous right-wing politics, even here in Scotland, that will say they are the ones who can tilt politics towards the interests of working people. They claim to be the party of patriotism, but they're fawning over Putin. No, they are not the answer for working people in Britain.
The United Kingdom's our friend. I went to school there for a while. I love them. And I want to see the Prime Minister do well. But he needs to put down the bong.
Farage isn't just criticising, he's gaining momentum. Recent polls show Reform urging ahead of Labour, with Farage's blunt, no-nonsense approach resonating with disillusioned voters. But is this a genuine shift in British politics, or just another populist wave? At the heart of this controversy lies a critical issue: jobs. Over 70,000 positions linked to the North Sea industry have vanished due to government net zero policies. While Starmer touts future green jobs that don't yet exist, working families are left struggling. Farage's criticism strikes a chord. Promises of a greener future mean little when people can't pay their bills today. And it's not just jobs, it's about trust. Starmer's critics argue that Labour has lost touch with the working class, focusing on ideological goals rather than practical solutions. Farage capitalises on this divide, presenting himself as the voice of the real Britain. But can he deliver on his promises, or is it all talk?
The leader of the UK Reform Party, who, by the way, did really well in that last election. I've been his friend for a long time, and I wasn't sure, am I supposed to be his friend or not? But it never mattered to me if he did well or not. I always liked him, but it's easier to like him when he got the kind of votes he got. He really took it by storm, and they say he's going to do even better this time. Nigel Farage. Where is Nigel? Thank you, Nigel. Thank you. What a great guy.
So what's the solution? Scrapping net zero policies, cutting taxes? Or is it time for a complete overhaul of the political system? As Labour and Reform battle it out, one thing is clear: the British public is fed up with empty promises and political gamesmanship. This political battle is far from over, and your voice matters. Engage, debate, and most importantly, vote. The future of the UK hangs in the balance, and every decision counts.
Well, we meet again.
Still shaking and quaking. I just feel like I've just been hit by a bus. But congratulations. Well, look, thank you for saying that you're here to help Keir, not to bury him. But let's get a couple of things straight. Wasn't it fascinating in that speech in Scotland? Did he mention the SNP? No. Did he mention the Tories? No. He mentioned reform. And I think that is the reality of modern politics.
He did actually make one little quip about the SNP. I think he did make a quip about them. I can't remember the exact quip he made, but there was one. But yes, go on. Sorry.
But it's interesting that you, when you're one of the most informed political journalists, you can't remember the quip. So obviously didn't.
No, for the SNP. Yeah, I don't. Well, you didn't even think he said anything about them. So at least I remembered that.
It went over my head, but then I've not got a lot on my head to actually just, constrict it. But I have to say, reform is an interesting place because I think as Donald Trump becomes increasingly deranged, I think all of us accept that some of his latest comments have been pretty left field, then I think reform have a choice to make. Reform have to realise, are they actually part of the British branch of the Republican Party, or are they an independent party on their own? And I think that's the important thing. That Nigel has to actually... Nigel's a pretty astute politician. He knows the score. And hopefully he will actually be able to go a middle path. But when Donald Trump, that speech that you actually quoted, said, am I supposed to like him? I mean, I think that's the tension between Elon Musk, who's made some pretty disparaging comments about Nigel Farage. But look, let's get back to the reality of what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I thought that Keir Starmer's speech actually showed a bit of passion and a bit of emotion.
You sound surprised.
Well, to be honest, in the past, he's been a tad nervous. I mean, we've had 14 years of the Tories. We've come into power. We're terrified of actually messing up. And we've done a few stupid things. Let's not deny it. And so basically, he's trying to, the old carrying the Ming bars across the polished floor trick. So I think that was a bit of passion. Fair play to him for that. But no, you've been around long enough. I mean, for such a young person, you know the reality is that when you're making a party political speech, you've got two things to do. One is energise your grassroots. You've got to actually speak to your own people. You've got to speak to the boys in the band. The other thing is you've got to actually put down the enemy. What Keir was trying to do there was to actually invigorate the grassroots by actually pointing out the threat and the danger. Now, I think he had to try to face both ways. It's very difficult to fight a battle on two fronts. And I think he was doing that today. The reality is that the front that we are fighting the battle on is the one that comes in that sort of pale greeny blue colour.
What do you think? Is Starmer losing his grip? Can Farage really lead the UK in a new direction? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more breaking news and in-depth analysis. We're here to cut through the noise and bring you the stories that matter. This is just the beginning. Political tides are shifting, alliances are breaking, and the stakes have never been higher. Stay tuned, because there is more to come.